and an education which is not differentiated and which is available for all with the same norms and same standards. I agree with you entirely on this, but I think this portion of 6 to 14 is a kind of a step for looking forward to deepening the right to education for children from 3 to 6 years of age and also for children 14 to 18 years of age. I think there's a lot of impatience here, so I will not say many things, but I'm just saying it's a moment for celebration. We have attained, and we have to continue our battle to see that each time we meet, we make our celebrations even more positive, and we look forward to many more gains. To tell you that from the Commission, we only hear complaints, we only hear things that are not happening, and if you look at the report that I will have to give from what I have heard from the ground, your RTE Forum report is much, much better. There is something positive that you have said. Because in our commission, we don't come to hear of things that are happening at all. In spite of it, I must tell you that one has retained, as Professor Yashpal Kapoor said, that I am a compulsive optimist. And I know that there is a lot of fervor on the ground. Because of RTE, parents are claiming their rights. Children are being sent to school. Millions of children have joined schools. And there are millions of children who have been left out, children who are from the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities, disabled children, girls. Many of them have now aspired for education legitimately and they have gone to schools. In the Commission, we have noticed that what is important is in deepening, even for the Commission, its own presence and its own activities. So we have about 26 state representatives. I thought I might tell you about what the Commission has done, and we would like to have our state representatives in all the states in the country. We have conducted social audits in about 12 states in the country, covering more than 1,000 schools, and I think it has again given us an insight into what has happened in these 12 states. Our public hearings, I thought, was very, very useful, and none of these, either the institutionalizing of state representatives or social audits or public hearings, which we held in about 11 states, could not have happened without the partnership of the civil society. And I must say, in all these, wherever there has been a demand, at the ground, at the level of the ground, the community, have made demands and the government has responded. Most of the cases, there has been a positive response from the government in resolving issues. The issues where we find resolution is taking time has got to do with big ticket items and investments. Investments are still tardy. We find there are school teachers but not enough. We have classrooms not enough, schools not enough. This is taking time, and I'm sure that all these gaps would be bridged, but it can be bridged only when there is a collective of conscience keepers who are here present, who constantly keep pressure on the government to say that, look, we are watching you, you will have to do what you have to do. Finally, I think, I would not want to take any more time. What is important is the coordination between government and civil society. Not being on an adversarial position, but in a position of mutual trust, mutual faith, and where we all see our roles as equal partners in getting every child to school. It is also needed a sense of urgency. I think somewhere there has been a lacking in urgency in the last 1 year. One has seen that very slow pace of funds have gone in. There has to be a greater sense of urgency in fund dispersal and in its implementation. And what is more important is we respond to the faith and trust the poor have in the system. Sometimes I feel the poor have greater faith in the system than the system has in itself. And they have nowhere else to go. They have only the government to go. And we should not lose faith in the government, not lose faith in the public schools. We should ensure that the government works and works well, and which means that, again, being a compulsive optimist, we have to always end even this conference in a note that gives strength to all those school teachers, to all those gram panchayats, to all our youth activists, to all those government officials who are working day and night to make this happen against all odds. Whatever we say must resonate with them, their aspirations, and whatever we say must give energy to them to do more, where they know that they are being noticed, they are being talked about, they are being heard, and they are being celebrated, they are being recognized. I think if we do that, we will really create a kind of an energy to do more and to actualize right to education. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santaji. Now I think this session comes to conclusion, and we have already been delayed, and we apologize on behalf of RT Forum to everyone. We have speakers for the next session here, and Vinodji, the moderator. So I would request everyone to take a 10 minutes break for the tea, and just quick come back. In the meantime, I think after this, and we are having the next session here in this hall, and after that we have 3 parallel sessions, and again post lunch we have session where we are interacting with the parliamentarians. So Jagdish Thakur, Manishankar Iyer, Devi Prasad Tripathi, Prakash Javadekar and Sitaram Yechuri has confirmed to be here. So we need to, yeah. चाय इस तरफ है, चाय और लंच दोनों इधर ही रहेगा. मैं अनुरोध करूंगा दूसरे सत्र के वक्ताओं से कि वो हॉल में आ जाएं. And the people who have finished their tea, please join us in the main hall so we can start the next session. मैं अनुरोध करूंगा डॉक्टर अपूर्वानंद जी से कि वो मंच पे आएं और अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें. डॉक्टर अपूर्वानंद जी दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय में हैं और शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में काफ़ी जाना पहचाना नाम है. किताबों के विश्लेषण में उनकी महारत है डॉक्टर अपूर्वानंद जी. मैं अनुरोध करूंगा प्रोफेसर विनय कंठ जी से, जो ईस्ट वेस्ट एजुकेशन सोसाइटी और पटना यूनिवर्सिटी से उनका संबंध है, वो मंच पे आएं और अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें. प्रोफेसर विनय कंठ जी. प्रोफेसर प्रवीण झा जी एजुकेशन फाइनेंस में एक जाना पहचाना नाम और जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय से संबंध रखते हैं. हम लोगों के साथ लगातार रहते हैं और मार्गदर्शन देते हैं प्रोफेसर प्रवीण झा. Mr. Colin Gonsalve is the senior advocate of Supreme Court and has expertise on right to education and legal dimensions. Mr. Colin Gonsalve, अगर कहीं दिख रहे हो तो कृपया मंच पे आएं. धीर झिंगरन जी को कहीं जाना पड़ा है उनका, इसलिए वो अभी हमारे साथ नहीं है. वो फिर बीच में आके हमको ज्वाइन करेंगे. विनोद रैना जी विनोद रैना जी तक अगर हमारी आवाज पहुंच रही हो तो हाँ. विनोद रैना जी. This is the first thematic session of the day, and we have very senior and prominent people with us today to discuss on the various dimensions of the right to education, including the finance, the schooling and equity and legal dimensions, mobility, secularism. So this session is going to be very significant and interesting. I'm just waiting Vinod Raina ji to come and join us. पीछे हाँ विनोद जी आ गए हैं, विनोद जी आ गए हैं। मैं विनोद जी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो आए और मंच पे बात करें। So now I'm handing over the dais to Vinod ji. ठीक है, ओके। आप विनोद जी ठीक है, ओके। तो विनोद जी का सुझाव है। तो मैं देखिए, आप सारे लोग जो मंच पे हैं हमारे बीच के हैं और शिक्षा के अधिकार पे लगातार काम करने वाले लोग हैं। तो मैं सबसे पहले प्रोफेसर प्रवीण झा जी को इनवाइट करता हूं कि वो आएँ और अपनी बात रखें, और फाइनेंस और एजुकेशन पे उनकी महारत है, एक्सपर्टीज है, तो उस डायमेंशन पे अपनी बात रखेंगे प्रोफेसर प्रवीण झा जी। सर प्लीज कम ऑन द लाइन।
It is indeed a matter of tremendous pleasure to be part of this particular stock-taking convention. शिक्षा के अधिकार को लेकर जो ये एक बहुत महत्वपूर्ण मुहिम जारी है, उसका हिस्सा होना मेरे लिए बहुत फख्र की बात है। और मैं अपना अभिवादन अमरीश जी को और सभी साथियों को जो इससे जुड़े हुए हैं उनके प्रति व्यक्त करना चाहूँगा। दूसरा, मैं आपसे क्षमा मांगना चाहूँगा कि मुझे किसी दूसरी जगह अभी तकरीबन 15-20 मिनट में पहुँच के बोलना है, तो मैं बस 2-4 मिनट अपनी बात करके मैं यहाँ से निकल जाऊँगा। तो उसके लिए मैं पैनलिस्ट और आप सभी लोगों से क्षमा मांगना चाहता हूँ। स्पेसिफिकली जो मुद्दा एजुकेशन फाइनेंसिंग को लेके है, मुझसे कहा गया कि उस पर कुछ चर्चा मैं करूँ। जो मूल सवाल जो हैं, जो मूल समस्याएं वहाँ पे, उसके बारे में हम कुछ बात करें। तो मूल समस्याएं फाइनेंसिंग ऑफ एजुकेशन को लेके क्या हैं, उसी के संदर्भ में मैं 2-3 बातें आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूं। पहली बात तो ये है कि एक आंकड़ा जिस पे काफी अरसे से ऐसा लगता है कि राजनैतिक सहमति रही है कि शिक्षा के लिए कम से कम जो हमारा सकल उत्पाद है उसका 6% आवंटित किया जाए। दैट इज 6% of our GDP should be allocated towards education, is something on which there has been a kind of political consensus based on what had been suggested by the Kothari Commission, and subsequently almost every political party at different fora had endorsed it. If you look at historically how things have evolved, now it is a matter of tremendous concern that this has not been done till date. If you look at even the most recent estimates, I want to emphasize this precisely because there is a very concerted campaign on behalf of the government and government spokespersons to claim that there has been substantial increase in allocation of resources towards education. Even in the earlier session, there was some reference to how the money in the last couple of years has doubled, etc. But when we talk of any increase, what should be the benchmark with respect to which we can assess it? कि क्या ऐसा कोई मापदंड है जिसको कि हम ध्यान में रख के कहें कि भाई जितना पैसा दिया जा रहा है ये उचित है या कम है या ज्यादा है? तो कोठारी कमीशन या उसके बाद की बहुत सारी कमीशंस जो रही हैं,